Hello dear friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Frey, and here on Heavenly Terp, I love to discuss topics like festivals, OnlyFans, and cannabis, but today we're going to be going over the endocannabinoid system to celebrate Terpene Tuesday. So if you're interested in learning more about the endocannabinoid system, go ahead and stick around, and if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell to get notified every single time I post. Let's go ahead and dive right into it because there is a lot to learn about the endocannabinoid system, and I tried to sum it up in a nice little PowerPoint for you the best I could. So let's go ahead and jump into the office and get started. Alrighty friends, welcome to the office. I don't normally record in here because of the fact that it is my roommate's office and he is typically home and using it, but today he is not, and well, for this kind of video, I would prefer to have the bigger screen to show you the information because it is a lot to take in, but very important in understanding how cannabis can be beneficial to not only your body, but to your brain and your overall health in general. So we're going to be going over the endocannabinoid system today for Terpene Tuesday. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. What is the endocannabinoid system? So the endocannabinoid system, or the ECS, which is what it's going to be abbreviated as in the rest of the slideshow, and in most if you go looking at any studies or anything like that, most will abbreviate it down to ECS, just because it is such a long freaking word. So the endocannabinoid system is a complex cell signaling system that helps regulate your body's functions, including sleep and mood, among others. It was identified in the early 1990s, specifically 1992, by researchers exploring THC, a well-known cannabinoid found in cannabis. A little fun fact, it was named after the cannabis plant because of that. Researchers argue it is the most important human physiologic system involved in establishing and maintaining health. Endocannabinoid receptors are found throughout the entire body, in the brain, organs, sorry, that was my ice maker, in the brain, organs, connective tissues, glands, and immune cells. So that's just breaking down the specifics of where you can find them, but you can find them in your entire body, and there are two specific receptors which we will be going into getting into in this video. So what is the goal of the endocannabinoid system? So although the ECS performs different tasks in each part of the body, the main goal is always the same: homeostasis, which is the maintenance of a stable and balanced internal environment at every level of biological life, from the subcellular to the whole organism. So meaning it can be beneficial to your body not only in the individual cells and on a sub-level, but on an entire body level, meaning it can be beneficial for every single part of your body, including individualized areas. So breaking down the receptors, because that's a very important part about understanding the endocannabinoid system, and also about trying to find what medication will do best for you and why. So receptor CB1 is the first receptor of the two that is found in the body. CB1 is predominantly present in the brain, nervous system, connective tissues, gonads, glands, and organs. Because the CB1 receptor can be found in the central nervous system, it plays a key role in regulating neuronal transmission and other key physiological processes, including those leading to pain, inflammation, memory, and feeding behavior. This also includes mood and general mental health. CB1 are G protein coupled receptors, or GPCRs, abundant in neurons in which they modulate neurotransmission. So that basically just means that CB1 is going to be a receptor that has a lot of neurons, and when it comes to modulating neurotransmissions, that just means that it helps with the communication between your brain and the parts of your body, like your organs, your nervous system, etc. So, CB2, receptor CB2. Sorry, we skipped, yep. Got too fast. My bad. It skipped a slide. I was like, that doesn't sound right. We had one more slide. So the CB1 receptor interacts with, so although there are two receptors, many tissues contain both receptors, each linked to a different and precise action. So what are some parts of your body that CB1 interacts with? It is your brain, your immune system, lungs, vascular system, muscles, GI tract, liver, pancreas, reproductive organs, bone marrow. So essentially that just means that any cannabis that you intake that interacts with the CB1 receptor can be beneficial for all of these parts of your body, and that is going to be the parts of your body that the CB1 receptor communicates with properly. So moving on to receptor CB2, which is the second main receptor found in the endocannabinoid system. So CB2 is predominantly found in the immune system and its associated structures. When activated, CB2 is found to have suppressed reactive microglia behavior and central neuroinflammation, and demonstrated a protective role in neuroinflammatory conditions. CB2 is an integral membrane protein with 7 transmembrane helices that belong to the large superfamily of rhodospin-like G protein coupled receptors. So the rhodospin-like GPCRs, which is the receptor that was explained in the CB1, themselves represent a widespread protein family that includes hormones, neuropeptide, neurotransmitter, and light receptors, all of which transduce extracellular signals through interaction with guanine nucleotide binding G proteins. So that basically just means that CB2 is the CB2 receptor binds with the proteins that are in your body or the proteins that you intake, meaning any proteins that are found in cannabis, CB2 is going to be receiving those proteins and then redistributing those to the parts of the body that the CB2 receptor interacts with. What are the parts of the body that CB2 receptors interact with? And again, another just quick disclaimer. Although there are 2 receptors, many tissues contain both receptors, each linked to a different and precise action. So some of the things that you will see on CB1, you also will see in CB2 as far as what parts of the body you can find them in and what they interact with. So CB2 interacts with the immune system, the skin, liver, bone marrow, pancreas, spleen, and bones. So you see a few things on this list that you also saw that CB1 interacts with, and then you see a few new things as well. But that's what we're saying. Endocannabinoid system interacts with your entire body, literally every single part of your body that you can think of. You have receptors, and those receptors are made to receive cannabis. So be cautious. This is going to be my disclaimer. I know a lot of people don't like talking about it, but it is a very important thing to talk about, because although the case numbers might be small in comparison to the amount of people who smoke or use cannabis, it is still a number, and that means that it is something you need to be cautious and aware of and educated on. So although cannabis can be extremely beneficial to many people, research has shown that small doses of cannabinoids from cannabis can signal the body to make more endocannabinoids and build more cannabinoid receptors. More cannabinoid receptors means the body is more likely to respond to antagonists, as well as increase a person's sensitivity to cannabis. Smaller doses will have larger effects as the individual has an enhanced baseline of endocannabinoid activity. This is what can cause cannabis hyperemesis. My dyslexia is getting the best of me this video. It's a lot of scientific words in this video. Syndrome, or CHS, where you can no longer intake any cannabis cannabinoids without sickness and pain. So, like I said, I know that the numbers are quite small in comparison to the amount of people who use cannabis. However, it is still very possible for your body to make more receptors and then become so sensitive to cannabis that you can no longer use it and no longer benefit from its cannabinoids and its terpenes and its trichomes. You have to then find other forms of medication that aren't going to be cannabis related. And if you are using cannabis because it is a natural plant-based medicine, that can kind of nip you in the butt a little bit. So make sure that you are not overdoing it. Make sure that you are being cautious of your intake. Make sure that you are being aware of how your body is reacting as the years and time passes. So, ECS conclusion. The endocannabinoid system is a widespread neuromodulatory system that plays important roles in central nervous system development, synaptic plasticity, and the response to endogenous and environmental insults. Again, sorry, my dyslexia is getting the best of me this video. I totally forgot to change those photos. My apologies. And this one. But these are my sources. I guess that works for sources. These are my sources. As you can tell, I've not been feeling the best the past week, so I do apologize for the lack of completion there as far as the photos goes. But I probably would have just changed them to pictures of some weed buds or whatever. Anyways, so these are the sources, which I will have linked below as well in the description. Thank you so much for hanging out and sticking through this video. I know that it was quite long and quite painful with my dyslexia. Again, I do apologize. I will probably put a link to this slideshow in the description below if you would like to just go through the slideshow again, or I will just keep all of the sources linked below, because every bit of information I put on here you can find in these links. And these are extremely reputable sources through different science pages, different government pages, clinics, things like that for studies. So I will keep those linked below. We're going to go ahead and go into my room and take a schmibble real quick. So if you would like to take a smoke break with me, go ahead and stick around. But if not, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you learned a little bit something new today that could possibly help you or a family member or a loved one get some help with everyday living. As we just learned, cannabis is extremely beneficial and has receptors, and we have receptors in our body for cannabis for a reason. Every single person has an endocannabinoid system. That is just science. So, you know, if you haven't found cannabis works for you, that is fine, that is great. But it might work great for someone who hasn't tried it yet. So definitely keep an open mind, and to help break the stigma and spread awareness and education about the benefits of cannabis for our bodies and our mental health, because dear God, we need it these days. All right, thanks so much for sticking around. Mwah. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week for Terpene Tuesday, going on the second week of February. I cannot believe that we're already like a month and a half into 2024. It's crazy. But anyways, see you guys later. Bye. Obviously, my hair's a mess.